So Facebook, Meta, and the Metaverse, and other things. Welcome everyone everywhere to the Elite Thinking Club. I'm Chris Jules Julian, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts Liz and Michael. How you doing, guys?
Very
Hi.
good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, man. I'm feeling great. I'm actually really happy because we've just reached like 232 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So
Awesome.
we must be doing something right, and people are feeling what we're saying. I love it. So if you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe button as well, and yeah, follow us for more episodes. So tonight's episode, we're talking about Facebook changing to Meta and then creating this metaverse. And yeah, we want to explore it and we want to know what you think about it. So yeah, just pin your ears back and, comment as well. Let us know what you're thinking. But before we go any further, like we always do at the Elite Thinking Club, I've got to say, you cannot change anything unless you're willing to understand it. And you cannot understand it unless you're willing to explore it. A good debate doesn't get ugly. We may talk of things that make people feel vulnerable. Beliefs held sacred may be challenged because of life experiences, but we're not trying to make people wrong or to incite riot, but simply explore. So welcome to the Elite Thinking Club. So obviously we've had a quick, brief conversation about this Mark Zuckerberg and what he's planning to do. And you guys know I'm excited about it. I want to see what it is capable of doing, where it's going. But obviously, due to life experiences, I just have a little bit of mistrust in it all. But, Liz and Michael, you're like the perfect people to help me explore this with. So, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because it just means that when you get away from the Facebook name and brand, because like we spoke about before, Facebook is literally just a brand. So now all they've done is made it so it's all in order. So all these companies, Oculus, Instagram, WhatsApp, are all now on their own level, and they all stem from their parent company, which is now Meta. But it means that they can then, because they do VR gaming, which I'm into, so it just means now they can then have a set department to then just bang out VR stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm excited. The gaming side is going to get pushed.
Yeah. Liz?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as excited. The whole virtual world, it's just, I feel like it's like a different realm.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole metaverse, it is like an online realm, and yeah, I haven't looked into it enough, and I am, like you say, I'm a little bit distrusting of it all.
And that's
but then
okay.
I suppose, like when Facebook first came out, there were people that were skeptical about that. It's like, oh, what is this? And it changed so much, didn't it? It kept evolving, the layout, like all different things, privacy settings. So I'm all for evolving, and we've got to. I don't know. I just feel a little bit like, are we kind of losing more touch of reality and becoming more robotic and like less emotional? And yeah.
And it's okay to admit that, like, you're not alone when you say that. I think many people are feeling that, yes, we are evolving, but we shouldn't go against the curve if we're moving toward this way. So for example, for those that know, we're talking about digital lifestyle. Like, we're, according to Elon Musk, quote, cyborgs. We all have a device to hand. So it isn't that, information is now so easily accessible. We have this attachment that gives us this power to know everything and be very up to date, right? Yeah, I mean, okay. So quickly, what Michael said as well. Meta then is like the trunk of the tree, and then all these other companies now owned by Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook, Meta then kind of umbrellas it.
Yeah.
So that they're now like, so the Meta, it isn't Facebook as in Facebook's now called Meta, it's Meta, and then all of like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all the other things that he's got is underneath
the
Meta.
umbrella.
Right. Then cool.
Yeah, so they've still got Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, Oculus, Mobility, Workplace, Portal, and Dean. So they're all just the daughter companies of Meta.
He's absolutely monopolized it, isn't he? Like he's absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, I don't even know what half of those are, but I don't want to. I don't think enough. I'm trying to keep up with what we've got already is enough for me. But
you know what? Like on a like, what's the word I'm looking for? On a smaller scale, it's like, remember when supermarkets came in and absolutely smashed smaller businesses? So a supermarket could be like, we have our own bakery, right? So you ain't got to go to your local bakers anymore. We got our own
the pharmacy
deli. Yeah, got our own pharmacy, got our own deli. It's just like everything you need under one roof, which is very convenient, but it absolutely smashes smaller businesses and destroys the smaller businesses. So yeah, maybe, you know, business wise, he's a very God, he's a you don't want to be up against him in business, but he's absolutely smashing it.
He seems like a robot to me, so he seems to know his stuff about robotics. He just comes across very robotic, but yeah, I don't know him personally, so just saying that's my perception.
For real.
But did you know this whole Meta thing has caused a bit of controversy in Israel because of the name? Because apparently the Hebrew word for this actually means dead.
Yeah.
Meta, yeah.
Oh,
that's why I feel like that's like it's like the death of us humans. Like we are then evolving into the robotic world, and yeah, it's just a bit icky for me. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, I think. But yeah, it's in Israel they're kind of not wanting to accept it, so
right,
because of the Hebrew meaning.
There's always going to be resistance.
That's only one meaning.
Yeah, there's always going to be resistance to change, isn't there? Like,
yeah,
for example,
absolutely. And there should be, really, because we should take time to learn about things more instead of just accepting what we're told.
True. And that's, again, like partly why I always have now like this distrust. I could be told the truth now. I could be told the solid truth about things, and just because of life experience, like I just can't trust it. And you should never trust anything like 100% all the time. Like, don't be naive. But even now, too much has gone on in my lifetime for me to trust superpowers. Like, it's all safe, it's all good. We've got your best interests. Have you? Have you really? Because obviously we know we're the product. We're the product. So it's just free services. Here you go. And it's like, I hate that I am actually the product, but it is what it is. We're doing this Zoom now. We're doing a podcast now. It's great. It has got its benefits. Right. Metaverse is virtual reality. So it's going to be a new online place where we can go and interact, and it's got endless possibilities. Massive companies already put billions of pounds into space, like actually owning certain space in the metaverse. So just like you buy property in the real world or land in the real world, you can buy land and property in the metaverse already.
It's just mad. It's what freaks me out.
Right. I mean, since when does a virtual place have any tangible item? Like, it's just
and worth, like,
yeah, how's it worth?
How do we know how much it's worth when it's just been created? And
which then brings it on to something which is quite crazy. Not crazy, I don't want to say that because it's just how we're evolving, but people will now spend money to be in the metaverse more than the real world. It's like you want to recreate life in the metaverse, but it's not real. Like, it's VR. So you always have to be plugged in to enjoy your metaverse life.
I think I've watched too many episodes of Black Mirror to it's put me off all of this. It's just made me see things differently when it comes to the whole virtual world. And I mean, it's great. Obviously, technology has its perks. Zoom, if you live halfway across the world, if you've got family, and in lockdown, it was great, wasn't it, for people to connect? Of course it was. You couldn't see people's faces and stuff. So, I'm grateful in that respect. And I'm grateful that we can do things quicker and easier, saves time. So you get to spend time on things that do matter. But I do think there's the other side of it. And I know in one of our previous episodes, we did about social media and stuff, and technology, AI and everything, that there's also the other sides to it. I don't know.
My mind has just started like really going into this. Like, so my theory is that, because I thought, how are people going to have time to make money in the real world to spend in the metaverse? Because once you've bought it in the metaverse, you need to live in the metaverse to enjoy it. So my theory is that all these big companies that are buying space and business in the metaverse, they will employ people to work in the company in the metaverse. And that's how you
does
make
that mean you
money.
have to kind of give up your reality and literally be in that metaverse? So this is what I mean. You are literally becoming like a virtual life. Like you're having I'm sure there was an episode on
you'll have to plug in to go to work, and then when you finish work, if you can obviously stay plugged in to enjoy the metaverse. It's a little bit
Matrixy, isn't it?
It is so bad. It's like, you know, what you've got to think about it.
And plugging out.
I think people are going to get quite fat.
Just sitting there. This is what I mean. It's not, that's the other side of it. Like, it's not real. That's what's scary. It is real. Well, it is a real thing, but what I mean is, like, it's not the actual real world. You're plugging into a virtual existence.
So maybe they should hire
plug out, you're in the actual world. But there's, I suppose,
So a pop star, I think Ariana Grande did a virtual concert, but in VR. I don't know if it was her. I don't want to quote that because I don't actually know that.
Let me Google it and find out.
And they did a virtual concert which went down really well, but it just, you know, it's the possibilities. I
think virtual concerts would be great if they could bring back people like Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, Tupac. Prince, like, you know, Tupac. That would be amazing, like what they could do. And you can actually go and feel like you're actually watching Biggie or, you know, whoever. But
imagine we do this.
If they're here, I'm paying to see somebody, I want to pay to see them. I want to see the sweat dripping off their face, you know, like, work for my money. I'm paid to see you. I want my favorite song on. I don't want to see it like where I could just, I could be at home on my laptop watching this, you know? I don't know. Everybody's different, I suppose.
So if the experience feels real, the mind doesn't know different, right? The body will react. That's where, like in the Matrix, when Morpheus says, you know, if you die in the Matrix, you die here, because the body cannot live without the mind. However, it's got some real health implications there. So if you do experience something in the metaverse quite traumatic, and I think we did say this in a previous episode, you will feel the effects in the real world, like here. If you experience, like, I don't know, like a tragic crash or something even worse, you know, it's like, fuck, you know, it didn't actually happen, but because your eyes witnessed it, your ears heard it, your brain now logs it as real. You know,
so you'll get like the PTSD and the trauma trigger response from it as well.
I was on VR for quite a long time, and then had to drive my motor, and it did seem quite weird that now I'm like actually inside a car, and if I crash now, there is actually consequences, rather than in a VR, it just doesn't matter. So that was quite a weird change. I was literally in a game, like shooting people, punching people, and then the next minute I'm in my motor, which is quite big, responsible for my life and other people's lives. Like, if I crash now, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah. You don't get a respawn in real life. No. Whereas in the metaverse, you could die multiple times and, you know, just respawn.
But couldn't that also like have an effect on people's like sense of reality and like the expectations?
Yeah.
From virtual to.
Yeah. So as long as you know when you're not in VR, because if it's too realistic, then there will be accidents happening.
New jobs will appear. New services, new everything. I feel like, you know, I don't want to be doom and gloom. We've got to look at all of it. Like,
absolutely. There's going to be perks, there's going to be pros, cons to everything. And I also, like, going back to what we said at the start, until we do it, we're not really going to know, are we? Until we kind of get into it. And it's kind of always been looming. Like, it's been in the films for years, the virtual. Wasn't there a scene I remember from a film like back in the 80s or 90s with Sylvester Stallone, and he puts on the like goggles, the VR screen, and he sits there. Was it like Judge Dredd or something? It was one of those like old films that he did, and he was virtually like being with his wife or whatever, and I think she was dead in it, but he was able to put these things on, and then she was like sitting there, and that's just, I remember back then thinking, oh, this will never happen in our lifetime, but it is.
yeah in our lifetime, for real.
I remember watching it. This was like an 80s 90s film, you know, and
that was like 40 years ago. And when you think about the time, you think, oh my God, 40 years. Don't sound like 40 years. Like, I think in the 80s, like it was 20 years ago.
20 years. I know. I had this conversation with my friend the other day. It's mad. Absolutely mad. But so it's been looming. They've been wanting to do it.
Yeah, I had an actor the other day saying that when they do a film, they literally go to sciencey people and like people that are on the next cusp of tech, and find out what is coming up, and then they'll make a film with that in it. Yeah. Which when you think about that, you thought, oh, it's not that bad then. But if you look at something they're developing for 20 years time, and then 20 years later you go, oh, they had that 20 years ago. But that's why, because they were in there watching that. What program was it?
But they're also kind of priming you for the fact that it's coming. So that when it is, it's not such a, it's like, oh yeah, you've subliminally got that in the back of your mind.
Oh, it was Will Smith. That's what I watched. As he said, they went to this place and see all these things, and then they put that in. I think it was like Men in Black and things like that.
Yeah. And like that film Gemini Man, when they clone him, I mean, that in itself is like, again, that is,
we need to do an episode on that, because so many people talk about cloning and how they think that certain people are clones. So that would be good.
I'm quite excited about that as well. If we can clone.
I'd be scared if I had a clone.
Yeah, well, it'd just be like having a twin, wouldn't it?
I don't know. It depends how you look at it, because
would a clone age? But would a clone age like we age? So let's say they cloned us now. What, they cloned us now as we are now, but you know, me in 50 years, I'm not going to be looking as young as this, and neither will you guys. So our clones
they cloned you how you are, unless they stop the aging process, which is at the moment impossible.
Yeah, the DNA would age. Yeah, your clone would age.
Yeah, but I'm going out on a limb here, so this is a weird question. And you know it's going to be weird because I've did a disclaimer.
I love this.
So if you get a clone, like say if I clone myself and have sex with him, is that homosexual or is that just masturbating?
This guy.
No comment.
Michael. No.
Oh my God.
If I don't kill him, is it gay?
Why would you think that? You think what you think.
Where did that thought process come into your mind? That's what interests me about you, Michael.
Here's what's funny then. It's just another idea. Then going off what you said, but instead of having sex with yourself, Michael, right? You could actually hire out your clone. So
why do we always get into
people that want to have sex with you? You could just like rent your clone. You don't have to have sex with them. You just give them your clone. Do you know what I mean?
So you basically got a slave.
Yeah, you could just like hire yourself out. You could become like a prostitute. You could be a prostitute, but you're not actually the prostitute. Your clone is.
Oh my God.
But then
we've gone from
wouldn't that then be a slave rather than
to clone prostitution?
Okay, so do clone, not that we know, we're just sort of exploring, but would clones have
if there's any clones out there, get in touch with us and let us know what it's like to be a clone.
I'd send my clone to work. I'd be like, no, my clone will go to work. You don't have to work.
Would
The clone will work.
Would you? Because if you make the clone, then the clone's got his own thoughts and feelings. So then he might turn around to you and went, "No, you go to work. I'm staying here." You're the OG. You
it would have to be fair. It would have to be shared out, wouldn't it? Otherwise, things it's going to get real quick.
I'm not sure I'd want a clone.
I would.
I wouldn't.
I would.
I wouldn't because there's bits. There's like we don't know how long we've got here on this planet, and I don't want to miss moments. I don't want to miss things. Like I don't want the clone doing things for me, and then I miss those moments that. You think, oh, it's easy because they're doing stuff for you, but something special might happen in that moment, or you might miss time with people and things like that because you've sent your clone along.
Yeah, and if the clone like misbehaves, if it does something, then you're in
That's
two places at
you.
once. Yeah, you're in two places at once, and then you've got to defend your honor. Like that wasn't me; it was my clone. Well, we can't tell that. We can't prove that. Anyway, we've gone way on a tangent here. Like so crazy.
As always. And
it had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
If you like what you're hearing, guys, and you haven't done so already, you've got to check out the YouTube channel. We do this all the time. Elite Thinking Club. Every Tuesday we're live, and we release episodes every Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you haven't done so already, head over there, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, just
you are an instigator, Michael. I've got your number. You are an instigator.
He likes to stir pots.
And
your clone would be extremely bad.
Dangerous.
Well, he wouldn't, because he'd be the same as me, wouldn't he?
You don't know that, though.
He'd be less than me because he hasn't gone through my experiences. So
that's right, yeah. Fresh.
He'd be a nicer version of me.
Oh, no.
Until I turn him. And Amy Middleton has said they cloned a cat yole if possible.
They cloned a cat?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've cloned a lot of animals.
Yeah, they have cloned animals.
Who said that?
There's
Amy Middleton.
Hi, Amy.
Thanks for watching. There's like some bunker somewhere where they have cloned people.
Yeah, Eminem's a clone. People are saying he's a clone.
This is the thing. I keep hearing this.
Eminem's a clone. Because there was a time when he done like, the music. We said this in the last episode. He done he done all them fight back tracks, and then he went into some mad drug binge, and he just ended up having to do a recovery album. It just weren't the same. And then all of a sudden he's back and his career's better than ever. And it's like, wow, who's this? And he does sound like a bit too good to be true sometimes. Some of the stuff he comes out with, I'm like, how is he capable of doing that? And it might not necessarily be because we don't know him.
No,
I mean, we don't really see it. Who knows?
All the world's a stage.
I think he's just muscle memory. So he lives and breathes rap.
Fair enough.
If you do that, like there's a guy, Steve Barner, I think his name is. He literally gets words from the audience, and he'll make a whole wrap up about the words that he's only just heard, and it makes sense. But that's because he does that all the time. Yeah. So with Eminem, literally, if all your time is thinking about rapping, then you're going to be
good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point.
I have to say, though, for me personally, maybe it's because subconsciously I haven't heard his music for a while or something. I don't know. But I feel like he's gone off the face of the earth. I literally feel like I haven't heard of him, about him. Don't even really hear him on the radio or anything, to be fair.
I've seen him about, but that's because I follow Eminem.
Yeah, I've seen him about, but yeah, he's not as active as he once was. He's a kind of a has-been, but he can't be replaced, He's got a permanent fixture.
Even his name as well. It's like one,
his last album was excellent, but the thing is, because he thinks about his other people, like 50 Cent, and his other, because he produces loads of other people's stuff as well. Because 50 Cent just got it, he got his star not long ago that him and Dre was at. So he's more concentrating on helping other people get there.
Right.
Wouldn't it be amazing in this new metaverse if we could revisit old concerts? So they could recreate Eminem's concerts when he used to like come out with a chainsaw and stuff like that. You could actually go back and watch it. Front row tickets for front row seats for everyone. You don't have to be, or you could just choose your seat. But
how
you know,
Yeah.
you could just, there is no more sold out front row seats sold out. It's like, no.
I'd
we
want
can
to.
just-
I'd want
we
to
can
see
do
Bob
it.
Marley and Freddie Mercury at Live Aid. I would so want to see that.
I would like to see Michael Jackson. I've never seen
Oh
Michael
yeah,
Jackson live. I
100%.
have to, but I'd go back to the Motown one. You know, we've done the moonwalk for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'd go there. I'd be like, I have
Yeah,
to be
like historical ones.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd go to a Tupac concert.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Exactly.
Like, I like a lot of singers, but if I had to pick one concert, I think it'd have to be Tupac.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I could pick one. I'd have to take my time.
Hendrix at Woodstock.
Oh my God,
go
Jimi
there,
Hendrix. Yes.
Stuff like that. It does definitely, like, this possibilities of a metaverse, like what can be done. It does have
I think it's a
scope to
great
be-
thing for things, you know, people who there was an episode of Black Mirror where it was a great episode, and at the end you realize that the person you've just watched and the story that's just been told was actually VR for someone who was in a coma.
Whoa.
So it literally, like, we watched like how she got to that bit, like it played out her life, and she was actually getting plugged in, and she thought she was still that age and going out and being in love and doing all of those things. And then when it got to the end of the episode and they unplugged her, she was actually in the bed, literally like in this, you know,
That'd be
in this
amazing,
coma or
because
whatever.
that could
And
help.
I was just like, that is amazing. That element, like people who have brain injuries or just, you know, disability or things that where they're never going to be able to do those sort of things or
That's right.
experience certain things. I think that is like miraculous for those people. And as long as we kind of, I know most things get monetized, but as long as we can do it for good reasons and for amazing things for humanity, then I think that it's great if we can push forward.
There's a kid in America. I think he's like, I say kid, I think he's about 19, 20 now. But so he's in a bed and he's got all these gadgets on him that where he's in these VR stuff, he's actually like a shop assistant.
Oh.
But in the real world, so then he actually serves people in the real world with this robot. But yeah, because he just wants to be a normal person.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, people that can't
See,
drive in the real world.
that is
now have
amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
exactly. And like, let's say you suffer with a condition that doesn't allow you to drive in the real world. With VR, you know, you can at least experience some element of driving, you know.
But there's
the
some
feel
people as
and-
well, they're like allergic to sunlight
Even
and things like that,
flying.
aren't they? They can't
Yeah.
go outside, or they can't, you know, there's people that literally live in a bubble.
Mm.
because
Okay,
of
so
their-
imagine we go to the metaverse and you can be anything. You can be anything you want in this metaverse. Your avatar can be anything you want. You can do anything you want as well. Like, what's some of the ideas that you have? And if you're watching, we want to know some of the ideas you have, and keep it clean. Come on, behave yourself. Behave yourself.
Oh,
I'll say that
damn
now.
it. Well,
I would fly. I would like to fly. I would have an avatar that can fly, so I don't have to wait for the bus or catch a car or anything. I just go to the next place, just fly around the metaverse, you know?
yeah,
Like-
I'd like to fly too and
No
climb
wings.
really high,
Yeah,
like jump from,
yeah.
yeah.
Skydiving, flying, just whizzing around. That'd just be great. And then I guess that'd be so great that when I come back to this reality, I'd be quite sad.
I'd like to go like deep down into the sea as well, like really deep down.
Why not experience space? The metaverse is endless possibility. It can do anything. You can create anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can go into space.
It's quite extraordinary when you think about it.
Yeah. The next step up would obviously be like 4D. So you would feel, you could have like heat rays sensors in your house. You'd have to set up your house. So you'd have like
Oh my goodness.
hot and cold air things, and you know, you can make it.
Well,
I
So like you
thought
could,
this
yeah,
up.
like you could
No.
pretend to be like walking on the edge of a volcano, but have
Honestly, Honestly,
Oh
I
my
thought
gosh.
I think we've mentioned this in a previous episode. I said something like, films in the future, you will be in the movie.
Yeah,
it won't be on a screen. You'll be in the movie, so you'll be turning and seeing the live action
gunshots and everything. Yeah.
You'd have to run with the characters and like move with it. It's going to be amazing.
So
imagine that being a lazy person.
I could actually be running alongside or lying in bed beside Tom Hardy and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah,
possibly could.
Sometimes it won't work though, would it? Because if you have to run with them, you just like, look, I can't be bothered.
I'm all right with the running. It just depends what else is going on, really. Like, might not be that good with the gunshots and stuff, but you know, it's practice.
Yeah, your fantasies can become realities in this metaverse, which is dangerous.
That is dangerous because I think fantasies are there because they're fantasies. Exactly that. Like, we're not really meant to reach. Like, I'm not saying that we don't get act out our fantasies, or at least like try and drive to, you know, be successful in set, because some fantasies do become reality for some people, you know. But I just think that can be a little bit, for the wrong kind of people or the wrong mindsets, that can become dangerous and obsessive, and also their expectations when they come back into reality, it could affect their relationships and you know, their everyday life, because they're off in this world.
In reality there are consequences, whereas in metaverse, whatever, there are no consequences. When Michael referenced earlier, like driving, he knows that he's not in the VR headset.
Do you think it will make crime go up, the crime rate? Because if people are going into that and getting away with doing things that they fantasize about, but they know they can't do in reality.
Well, so go down there, wouldn't it? So then they do all their crime in the VR
then will
world.
they come back into reality and then feel like, oh, I know how that made me feel doing that in VR. I want to do it for real now, and I've got like that feeling, and I want to do it for real. Like, will it push people to do something they wouldn't have done, but because they've delved down that path in?
I don't know. I think it'll push people to be more lazy, because if I can achieve something in VR, then I don't need to do. Like, if I would love to drive a Lamborghini, so you get jobs, so you can buy stuff, so you can do this, so you can do that. If you can just go drive a Lamborghini and it feels real, then I don't need to do that.
You'll be less ambitious, less productive in life. You won't need to feel the need to strive. You'll just be like, well, I can just drive a Lambo over there. Metaverse.
And just get a house with a room in it, because you're like, well, I'll just go VR and I've got loads of room.
Yeah.
So I can just pay £50 a month for this house, this room.
A pod. You can just live in a pod.
Just sit.
But really, you can plug yourself in and believe that you're in
so I'd rather not do
the West Wing, East Wing.
Wow.
I don't want to do
so you can have a mansion in the metaverse, but just live in a pod.
This is where I think it's dangerous.
In the real world.
I don't want it.
No.
For that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, this is why I just think it
I don't want it.
It just takes too much away from our humanism and our reality. I think it's great. It's great for so many things, but then I also think that it is damaging on so many levels. And this is where we have to balance it out. Does the damage, does the good outweigh the damage?
Has it ever been about health though? It's never been about health.
No.
If people cared about health, if people cared about health, we'd be in a better place right now. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Let me just have all of what we have.
I have thought about this. I think it was earlier last week. We are living in a great time to be alive. When you think about war and you think about health and you think about globally, we are doing so good. Like, in the grand scheme of things, people are a lot healthier, living longer, and there is less violence and war than there was any time previous. Like, previous times, we were savage, and we're getting better. So actually, health is a massive thing, and we are getting better. Excuse me. As much as it feels like it's never been about health, we are living a lot healthier and better. So I have to take that back or reword that. But mental health then. I guess it isn't really their responsibility to do that, is it though? It is ours. We need to govern ourselves.
Yeah, but they also have policies where they have to, you know, they do have to carry out sort of research, and they do have to be mindful of the effects it's going to have on us. Definitely. It's like cars and products that we get sold. They have to run certain tests, and they can't just say, here's a car, but we haven't tested the brakes, or we haven't done, you know, this, that, and the other, because
but you can't
then
monitor
they'd be liable.
someone. So how much time, screen time, for example, in a day, I will put my hands up and say my phone, probably about 4 hours.
Yeah.
5
Well, I
hours.
have a thing on mine which monitors it, and
Right.
it tells
Yeah,
me each
so do
week.
I.
And each week, every week of this year, one of my goals was that it goes down in percentage. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's just
It
screen
tells
time.
me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, once you do VR time, I mean, you could. Some people
Maybe the
will
screen time will
replace.
go down
Well, it's
because
not
the
just
VR.
yeah, but it's not just screen time on your phone. Like it's
No,
screen
TV.
time on your TV as well, which some
Mhm.
people don't connect the two. They're like, no, it's
No.
not. I'm off my phone. Yeah, but you're watching a TV, so
Mhm.
it isn't. You know, it's the
It's
same
still a
thing.
screen. It's still
Yeah.
programming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, my VR is a perk bonus. So, as much as I like VR, I don't think I'd like this world as much. I'd do it for a little bit, and then once I've experienced a certain things, I'd probably stop using it. But my VR, I barely use my VR now, but that's a bonus for me to use it.
Do you feel like the novelty will wear off then, Michael? Is that what you're saying? People will buzz through it initially, and then we have to go up and down before we realize, hold on a minute.
It all depends what is being offered. If too much is being offered, like if you can do anything you want, then I think that is too unhealthy. Like if you can go and do and like be rich in VR, then you're not. I mean,
it's going to become addictive for some people.
From it. I'll prosper from it because if loads of people get hooked on it, there'll be space. So I can go do what I want in the real world. If people are hooked on VR, but yeah, I'd rather accomplish stuff in real world than on a VR set. That just
100%. It's more meaningful.
Go on, Liz.
I just think that it could become addictive to people who, like, you know, you get people who are sort of obsessed with selfies, and you know, it's not real. Like they're influencers, but it's not real. The life they're actually putting out there. So I think that it can kind of transition over to in VR that people could, like you say, they could just be living in a bedsit, but going into VR, living in a mansion, and they could end up literally getting paid, spending all their money to buy all these things in VR, because it's like become an addiction that it makes them feel good. It's an ego boost. It makes them believe that, yeah, I'm doing well, and this is how I live. And their reality isn't as good as that. So they want to stay more in there. It becomes an addiction. So, so I just think that I wouldn't want to delve too much into it personally. I'd want to give it, and I do think, like everything, there's novelty. So there'll be some people who will do it because it's like, oh, it's a new thing, but then they'll be like, yeah, okay, I'm done now. And those people are kind of people who will probably be more disciplined and will kind of have the mindsets of it's a novelty, yeah, back to normal life. But there will be other people who will naturally just get addicted. There'll be people who maybe will just start off innocently, but then become more and more and more into it. So
end up on a drip or something, so they don't have to ever get up.
Oh God, can you imagine?
So let's talk about generations. Obviously, we're aware that my grandparents, for example, are not as tech savvy as we are, and I remember being born into a world where I still remember seeing a typewriter. But then that quickly vanished when I was probably about 4 or 5, and along came keyboards and computers and dial-up, and just saw this evolution. But what I will say is, you know, my sister's kids, my nieces and nephews, they are very aware of the touch screen. They're very aware of the screen, and they don't know no different. So if you're born into a world where VR is established, you won't know no different. And I saw something the other day of a girl who had social anxiety simply because she was born into a world where she doesn't have to interact with people, or she hasn't built her confidence to interact with people. So, you know, metaverse for people, it is really sad.
And it's just
people in the metaverse can have some confidence because they know they're not speaking to a real person, even though they are, but they're not, you know.
It's kind of a they can kind of take themselves out of the situation, and it's like gaming, like any gaming you play. There's so much toxic people because they know that there's no comeuppance. So it's kind of the other thing, but with a nice side, that they don't have to worry that there's a comeuppance if they go and talk to someone. So, I mean, that is a good side of it. Like, one of the funniest things I've ever seen with my niece, she was at a computer, and because she had always been on an iPad, she thought it was a touch screen. So she's like touching the monitor like that, like trying to move. It's like, no, you need to use the mouse. And she's like trying to swipe the screen.
That is cute. Exactly. And then obviously being born into the metaverse, coming into the real world, trying to explain, no, you need to tie your shoes in this world. You need to go for a walk in this world. There'll be their fitness level. You're right, Michael. We're going to get a lot of fat people, mate. Fitness will just be going out the window because you'll be a complete athlete on the metaverse.
It's like I run everywhere. What, in real life? We'd have to literally just start going, like, in real life. Like, we'd have to have a different conversation. Like, they'll start saying that, I went to pizza.
Oh, actually.
What, in real life?
Sorry, actually, come to think about it, right? This is actually, like, I'm going with this in connection to what we're saying. Online validation is not the same as real life validation. So people will get a naive confidence because there are somebody online, but in reality, like in the real world, you're not. And that creates in itself a false sense of entitlement.
And an unhealthy perception of oneself and ego. And also, like, I've met people that online they come across a certain way, and then I've met them in real life, and it's like they're completely different.
Like, well, they always say, "Don't meet your never meet your idols."
Yeah.
I remember that guy that met Michael Jordan. He was a big fan. Was it Chamillionaires, the rapper? And he met Michael Jordan. He said, I couldn't believe the man Michael Jordan was. And it's like, well, who did you think he was? You know, who did you think he is? Because you see him performing as a basketball NBA player, and you see the businessman, but you don't see the family man. You don't see more. There's more to people than just that online thing they do or thing they do. But then that could also be awesome. Like, I'm pretty sure I'd like to have a conversation with Lewis Hamilton. You know, I'd like to meet him. Even Russell Brand. People think they know the guy, but you get to talk to the guy.
He's awesome.
Quite a cool guy. Yeah, quite a cool
Apparently,
guy.
Lewis is really down to earth.
Yeah, people are down
I know
to
someone who knows someone who's knows him. But apparently he is. Because I thought he was a bit up himself. But,
I like Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, I met one of my heroes, which was Sergeant Cy Thorne. I met him in the Vikings. It was actually, annoyingly, he actually turned into our colour sergeant when we left, because he was my recruiting sergeant, and I'd seen him on Ross Kemp in Afghanistan, and I got to meet the guy. Yeah, that was my.
That's awesome.
Yeah, out of all the famous people I've met, he's probably my best one to meet, because he seemed so down to earth on the Ross Kemp thing, and then I got to meet him, and he was my sergeant.
That's mad.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Happy days. I don't really know who I'd like to meet anymore. I just feel like people are just people. I'd like to just meet people who can be people, like be real.
That's what I like. Yeah, because they are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, unless they're a clone, but you know, how am I going to
That's
know?
what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't want to be a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm just a friend. Just to meet me as you'd meet me. You know, just yeah, for real, for real.
Oh,
yeah,
actually, yeah, I'm really happy I met Liam. That was a good day.
Michael, what was that?
I said I'm really happy I got to meet Lee Evans as well.
Oh, nice one.
It was one of my. That's why I got that tattoo.
Oh yeah, what was it? If we get to like 500 subscribers, Michael's gonna get the ETC tattoo, the Elite Thinking Club tattoo. And if we get 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna be doing a
Are you
live
actually
episode.
going to have faces, or is it just going to be the symbol? Because
Just a symbol.
I
Only
was going to
because
say.
if people change, then I don't want people's faces on there that aren't in it.
I'm not
But
changing, so you can have my face.
I got, like I said, I got Lee Evans, didn't I? I got Lee Evans' signature on my stomach.
Oh my gosh!
I thought I showed you it.
Yeah, go on, show us. You got to see it now. People are going to want to see it. There it is.
Oh my gosh!
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
So literally, like, did he permanent marker it, and then you just went and got it tattooed over?
Yeah. I mean, there was a thing behind it because we was going to. Oh, there was a few tattoos I wanted, and then we started speaking about because we were meeting the next day to get our books on, and because I lose books or I actually lost a book, so I'm glad I didn't get that signed. And then she said as a joke, get him to sign you and get tattooed. And I was like, all right. And then she was like, you wouldn't do that. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. So he literally signed it with a marker pen. And then within 20 minutes, I was at a tattooist and we were literally just going over.
Oh my gosh.
You're brilliant.
Yeah.
That is mad.
And then I went back to show him, but he'd gone. But then on his last tour, we went to it. And I went up and said, hey, and pulled my top up. And he went, you're fucking crazy, you are.
He's not wrong.
You made his career, mate. You know you've hit it big time when someone's got your name tattooed on them. That's flipping awesome.
I just hope he doesn't turn out to be a pedo. That'd be bad, wouldn't it?
For real. Imagine that. Imagine you got like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'd be. He won't though. I don't.
No.
Well, I bet no one thought. Who's that one with a cigar? Now then.
Rolf Harris.
Oh,
R.
him as
Kelly?
well. Yeah.
R. Kelly? No.
Well, yeah. Well, I know everyone knew about R. Kelly. I'm on about
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, he used to do anything for anyone, and it turned out it's because he wanted to touch him. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only other people I wanted was the Killers to sign me, but
there might be a day. The day might come.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their last album was shit.
Yeah, but manifest it.
Okay, so Facebook, Meta, and the Metaverse. Yeah, if you hadn't done so already, let us know what you think.
Have we got any comments, Michael?
Yeah. Is anyone?
Not since that one.
But that's all good.
And also,
I think we've scared them with the virtual reality.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah. And if you want to, all the links to everything we talked about tonight, you can see in the description. So if you want to, like Michael just showed there, get any fan-based merchandise, you can click the link in the description. And also, I did add extra in the description, a link to Meta and the Metaverse. It is like an hour long. You can click on each part of it and it will explain. Mark Zuckerberg's explaining more and more about it in greater detail. So if you want to check that out too. Yeah. But guys, I think I'm gonna cap the episode there. Do you have anything else you want to say before we finish about Meta, Metaverse, or anything we spoke about tonight?
Nope, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into it. I think I'm gonna have to build myself up to it. Not a fan at the moment.
Well,
I say I'm a fan as long as there's limits to what people can do.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's just going to be unhealthy if there isn't. And
I think they're going to have to probably regulate it somehow, aren't they? Surely.
All to look forward to.
Yeah.
We'll see how it
You do
goes, and then
most things.
we can look back on this episode and be like, remember when we did that episode before that in about 2 years' time when it's all actually fully running, and yeah.
Michael, you and I will probably be like on here going, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" When really we were like, "No."
Yeah, you just see me like really fat, like, "Oh, I'm never going out." I live on VR now.
Oh, I don't know. It's yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Liz.
I said that's what's great about doing these things, because you know, predictions and things, and you get to look back and see. Yeah,
definitely,
it's all
100%. Right, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And Liz, Michael, thank you for joining us tonight. You know, as always. Next week we have got a special guest, and she's going to be talking about human design. So look forward to that. For anyone that doesn't know anything about it, maybe do a bit of research prior. But we're going to be getting all this information about human design, because I feel like we're gonna really love that, especially since we've done previous episodes trying to like get all these answers. So look forward to that. So
it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe and yeah, tune in for that. And other than that, I feel like if you've got anything you want to say to us about this episode, definitely comment. Yeah, we'll be happy to hear and know what you think.
And if you know anything about it, or if you're going to be working in the metaverse,
yeah, have you already bought your house in the metaverse?
Yeah, I'm looking for a room.
Right, guys, thank you so much, and everyone everywhere. From me and Liz and Michael, peace and love.
See you next week.